Why is it like this? Why are you like this? Welcome to chat room. Okay. I'm back to chat after reloading, and this is working now. So reloading seems to have fixed it. Alright, so we should be back. And that's good. Let's see. Well, see, so the thing about the gacha games that the thing that I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my ISP that didn't want me to talk about this because it's so toxic. Maybe it wasn't my ISP. Maybe my router died from the toxic damage. So, the thing that I find enjoyable about gacha games is the fact that because the deck is stacked so far against me, I don't have to feel bad for trying my hardest to win. In theory. In theory, that is the thing that, I can be a try-hard, I can be aggressive, I can do the things that I want to do, and try to, I can be competitive and feel like free to do so because of the fact that it's because the deck's stacked against me. The issue is that because of the fact that the pricing model is fundamentally predatory, which is to say that it's targeting people who are vulnerable to certain types of emotional manipulation and twisting it. I run into the issue that I end up feeling bad anyway. Because despite the fact that I don't have to feel bad about the fact that I'm I'm being a tryhard, I do have to think in the back of my mind when I'm in a light competition with someone where I see them on the leaderboard and I declare them my rival and I'm going to beat this person, right? When I see them, when I pass them and see them suddenly spike in a way that indicates to me that maybe they just spent money. Did I do that? Did I make that person spend money because, you know what I mean? So I end up feeling like I'm being used as an agent to influence people to do things that are self-destructive. And mostly, I'm not talking about too much in terms of PvP stuff, because, the games that I was playing, there are PvP elements to them, but I'm mostly talking about, leaderboard stuff, right? Mostly talking about, leaderboards, getting higher on the leaderboards and, trying to compete with the not really the whales, because you can't compete with whales, but competing with the dolphins, not the light spenders but the mid spenders, trying to compete with them on the leaderboards is a task that is not unreasonable to do if you are an extreme try-hard, very focused, and have decades of experience with coming up with strategies to make things do different stuff. It's not impossible to keep up to some degree with the mid-level spenders, because of the fact that for the most part most of the people who are mid-level spenders are not trying very hard. They're not doing a lot of thinking, and they're not necessarily that strategically minded in the first place, because most people aren't, right? There's not a huge difference in terms of the quality of play from a non-spender and a mid-tier spender. There will be maybe a bit of a difference, but not that huge of one. I will say that I would guess that the average whale is probably less strategically minded than the average player generally, because that's self-selecting for someone who's willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars to basically have everything maxed out. And it's if you need everything maxed out, you're not making strategic decisions in what you're maxing out. it indicates to me that you're probably just not. You're probably just following meta trends more so than anything else, which can get you far, but they can't get you an infinite distance. Anyway, point being that I end up playing these games, and then I end up feeling, I'm like, yeah, I can be competitive. I could try to I can try to push, and I don't have to feel bad about winning. And then it's like, no, I kind of do, because I feel like maybe I'm contributing to something. And then I go back to reading my books. Reading my books, I'm not contributing to anything weird. Okay. I'm gonna disengage.
Have no fear.
Disengage. So it looks like at certain ranges, the damage incoming is lower. So I think that only some of them can hit me from each position here. This is going to be a little bit nicer than I had anticipated. We're going to be okay, I think. Let's see. Yeah, generally speaking, books are good. The other thing that's great is that the battery life on phones is good enough these days that if you're like reading a book on a plane, like you can go for like so long, like with like barely needing like a backup battery, you can go for like an entire 30-hour trip with just reading a book. Let's see. There we go. Well, generally speaking, I accept the concept that people are responsible for their actions, but I ultimately think that most people's actions are mostly like mediated through and decided by the systems that they exist within. So there are, so from my perspective, I don't like contributing to a thing that will lead someone to do things that hurt them, even if I wouldn't consider myself responsible for it. I still would prefer just not to be involved with it. What? Somebody's knocking on my door. Give me a second. Let's see. I am Nick. I have returned. And to be clear, I don't feel super bad about it. It's just that little bit in the background. You know what I mean? It's just that little bit of background noise of like, yeah, this is... There's limits to how... So there's another one behind me right now. Let's see. All set. Yeah, the other thing that I've realized is that a game that, like, I can get a lot of the same benefit that you get from, like, a leaderboard without needing to have a leaderboard, because I don't actually really care about, like, comparing myself to other players. So, like, a lot of the weird, like, optimization shenaniganry that I enjoy doing in those kinds of games, I can do in, like, basically any idle game, because I don't need the validation from, like, having gotten a higher score than someone else. I enjoy coming up with the clever thing intrinsically. And so because I don't need to feel like it's more clever than something else, something that somebody else has come up with, I don't feel the need for that. Like playing like just like idle games has been really good to like scratch that itch without needing to engage in like the weird space of like, you know, feeling like you're contributing to like a being an agent within a system, right? Because it's like if you're doing a game that like if I'm playing NGU at idle, and I don't know that NGU idle. I don't know a lot about like the ways that like people get hooked into this kind of stuff, but I don't think that game it's an idle game. It has the ability to pay money to buy things, but I don't know that like the monetization strategy is predatory. Like I don't know why that would, like, I can't think of any problem that I have with the monetization strategy. Is if you want to, you can pay to skip the game, which is like, okay, well, that I don't know why you would do that. Why would you get the game and then skip it? But also that holds true for most of these types of games. So I don't know. But regardless of whether the monetization strategy that they have, it has like has elements of predation to it, I don't have to worry about that because I'm not contributing to their monetization strategy, right? Like, if I were to obviously if I were to advertise the game to people, right, and say, oh, people should try this and play this and, you know, try to beat my high score, then I could end up in a situation where I'm contributing to their monetization strategy potentially. Especially if I'm telling people that they should try to beat me, right? But just me just playing the game doesn't contribute to like anyone else feeling like leaned in on, right? And so I can basically just do it, and it's like, well, you know, I don't need to know like what the hooks are in your monetization scheme because I'm not involved. I'm not like contributing to your, you know, weird stuff in any way. Maybe there's hooks, maybe there's not hooks. I don't know, and I don't have to know. And that is a much more convenient place for me. Let's see. I just like being good at things, right? To me, I enjoy being good at things. The one advantage of having... I like to set unrealistic goals, right? I like to set unreasonable goals. The advantage of an online leaderboard for me comes with being able to be like, okay, that's the unreasonable goal. right, that I'm going to set for myself is to do this thing that is unreasonable. Because otherwise you don't know what's unreasonable, right? What's an unreasonable goal? Okay, well, beating the whales is an unreasonable goal. We'll set that as the goal, right? But if I'm like in a game where I don't know what's going on, I don't know, like, I don't have necessarily as strong an idea of what counts as an unreasonable goal. You know what I mean? So it can be advantageous to have some point of comparison, just to be able to reference back and go, okay, maybe I'm missing something here in terms of like, oh, maybe there's like a mechanic that I'm missing or this, that, other thing. The issue, of course, with like the with something where, you know, obviously people are just paying money, is that it's like, well, what you're missing is that they're paying a lot of money. But that's why it's setting that as a goal is unreasonable. But there's something delightful about just stacking the deck against you, setting a clear-cut goal that is like incoherently ridiculous, and you should not be able to do, and being able to do it anyway. That's to me is very fun, as opposed to the other stuff that I'm doing, which is more common in my like casual life, which is just like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this in a dumb way, and you know, it doesn't matter whether it's, you know, and like with sort of like goalless, right? So I guess that's part of why it is that I do the streams the way that I do. Like I set these like completely like silly, you know, goals and standards, because it's very fun to just kind of like be, okay, this is not a reasonable thing to do, so let's do it because it's not a reasonable thing to do. It has like some aesthetic tying it together, but it's mechanically not a sensible thing. And let's just do that. And so I guess there are ties between those two things. And maybe that's part of the reason that I don't feel the need to have the more like rigidly structured stuff anymore. Where it's like I don't need to have like a leaderboard, because the leaderboard angle, the stuff of like, ooh, set a very specific unrealistic goal and achieve it. That's what I do on stream, is set an unrealistic goal and then achieve it, right? So maybe that's why. It's because I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm already doing that. I don't need to scratch that itch, because it's already being scratched by what I do on the live stream. I don't really know.
I need healing.
And I agree. We should all just have as much cheese as humanly possible. Oh shit! I wasn't paying close enough attention. There's another group that wrapped around. Can I get you locked in here? No, right? Not even slightly. So we're gonna rotate them back down here. It is preferable, I think, to do this in phases, so that if the final bit goes wrong, it doesn't go catastrophic. Basically, the enemies have less HP to play with. And so, like, if I have to brute force the end of it, it's more reasonable to do so. We have 6 saves left. We have about an hour. I think we're golden for this. I think we'll be able to manage this. We also have the ability to invis in the dungeon now. So yeah, I think that's a very normal thing to do. I think it's normal to get to a thing that you really enjoy and just do something unreasonable that you don't expect to win. And maybe you eventually win, but I don't think winning is the point. If that makes any sense? Like, I feel like for some things we want to win. We want to succeed. But I also feel like for, like, you know, and I don't know how universal this is, but like for my part, most of the stuff that I don't really want to succeed necessarily. Like I don't want to be successful. I want to fail in an interesting way. Right? And like if I manage to succeed at a thing, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know how competitive I was as a kid. I don't really consider myself super competitive, and I don't know how much as a kid I was competitive versus just being someone who wanted like to do better. Because I think there's a big difference between wanting to win, like wanting to either beat other people or wanting to like be successful, which I think are two separate things from each other, but they're related to each other more so than like the desire to just like grow, like the desire for growth, right? And I think that I have a very strong desire to experience things in like new and interesting ways, and I have a fairly strong desire to grow, but I don't really have a ton of interest in winning. And I don't know whether I did when I was young either. I should ask some of my some of the people that I knew back in like middle school and high school, actually. Just get in contact with them and say, hey, you know, when we were like playing like GoldenEye and shit like that, like, was I super competitive? Would you define, like, would you say I was competitive? Was I like trying to win? Like, how was I playing? And I just don't know. I actually don't know. I think a large part of the not finishing things, I think that honestly, like, there isn't as much stuff. Things don't hit as hard. Like, from my perspective, right? When I was young, when I was experiencing a new game, when I was experiencing a new narrative, when I'm experiencing something new, it was new in a way that things can't be new anymore because I have too much experience, right? If I see a novel mechanic now, like a mechanic that I haven't seen before, in like a video game, as a random example, if I see a new mechanic I haven't seen before, the shape of that mechanic, I can kind of see its history in the mechanic, and it's not coming out of nowhere, right? It's not like, oh shit, this is like, I didn't know that a video game could do this, right? Like, that never happens. But when I was 15, that happened every Tuesday, right? Like, every time I came up across a new mechanic, I had no history of that mechanic to draw upon. I had no history of like the genre to pull back from, because I just didn't have enough experience, right? And so I think that part of the reason that as we get older, it can be harder to do it is just because it's like, well, are you getting as much value, like, intellectually? Like, is it as emotionally and intellectually stimulating? Because the same holds true for narratives and stuff like that, too, right? Like, if you've read 1,000 books, the 1,001th book is kind of going to have a lot of hybridization of, you know, 6 of the books you've already read. But if you've only read 100 books, you're going to see novel, new, and interesting things every time you read a new narrative, right? That's just like core to the thing. So part of it is, and I'm not touching on it. I've started on that because it's the thing that I think is something that I don't hear people talking about as much. But obviously, like, as an adult, the way that we manage our time is different. Like there's the responsibilities we have, the other thing, like all the dynamics of that kind of stuff is obviously different. Adults just live very different lives than children do. But in addition to that, we interact with media in a fundamentally different way because of the fact that we can see a history to it that definitionally you don't get as a kid because you don't have the experience. And a kid can understand something on a deep fundamental level and can understand something like deeper than you can understand it necessarily as an adult. Like there's the things that you can do. Like it's not like, oh well, as an adult you can understand things better. It's like, no, there's just a type of understanding that is locked behind adulthood. It's like a very specific type of media analysis, a very specific type of way of interacting with the medium that comes from the amount of experience that you can only have through time. Does that mean that you have to be an adult? I mean, kinda, yeah. Right? Like when you're 6, you're not like interacting deeply with the media that you're interacting with because you just haven't had enough time yet, right? Now, does that mean that adults on a fundamental level are interacting with media on a deep and interesting level? Absolutely not. Look, I've talked to adults. I know adults, but I feel like regardless of whether they're interacting with the media on a deeper level, like from like an analysis perspective or from a like however they're interacting with it, even the surface level interaction with a piece of media as an adult, you're interacting with it differently because you're not interacting with it on like without that history. You're still interacting with it with that history in place, right? What a surface level understanding of the thing means is different because of that history. It's not better or worse necessarily. It's just different on a fundamental level, right? And I think that's kind of interesting, right? Like we do have like. There are differences between the way that we interact with things, early in our life and later in our life that just influence the way that things go. And the reason I'm being vague about what those differences are is that it's up in the air. What the difference is like complicated. It depends on the particular mind that's interacting with this particular thing, right? It's not like, oh well, older people interact with media like this, young people interact with media like this. It's different. What that difference does in terms of like the meaningful interaction with it. It's complicated. It has an effect, but what that effect is like very like it's chaos theory, man. Like it's way too complicated to predict what that effect will be. That effect can lead to a more surface level or a more complex and sophisticated understanding of the media, because as you get more experience with the media, you are inoculated against some of the tropes of the media so that you won't notice them as much, right? Like one of the things that's been really interesting is I have played like RPGs and things like that for a very, very long time. So I'm used to like my narratives coming with random battles that have no purpose other than just this is just combat for the sake of combat. who is it that you're fighting? You're fighting some random thing that is never going to be referenced again, has never been referenced in the plot, canonically basically doesn't exist. Sometimes literally doesn't exist canonically. A lot of times you'll fight an enemy that canonically makes no sense for you to be fighting right now, because like if you're fighting this enemy, that it breaks the plot in some way, right? That's very common in like an RPG, right? Where you're fighting a fight and it's like, well, I don't think I could be fighting this right now, actually. If I was fighting this, that kind of causes problems for the plot, right? Like, how many times have you played an RPG? God, how about this fucking trope? You're playing an RPG, and you have the characters going like, oh, we're in this spooky ghost ship. I hope we don't see any ghosts. And then the whole narrative as you're going through this is one character saying ghosts don't exist, and another character trying to spook them out or whatever, right? Or whatever, right? Like, but fundamentally the narrative ties in with ghosts aren't real. Ghosts are fighting you. You're fighting literal ghosts. You know, just like, it's like, this is clearly a ghost. Obviously you're fighting a ghost. This is just like a random encounter with a ghost that's like using ghost attacks. And they never resolve that narratively. Right? Very common, right? So, like, that kind of stuff is, so that kind of like dissonance is something that like I'm used to having, of like, you know, oh yeah, these are random encounters, they exist as a narrative trope within this genre, I don't pay very much attention to them. But then when I start playing like RPGs and like I'm playing them to like to show these things to like people in my life who didn't grow up playing RPGs, they go, hey, why are you killing that random dog? And I go, what do you mean? It's a random encounter. And they go, yeah, but why are you murdering that random, like, cute dog? Like, that's kind of weird behavior. Is there a reason that you're killing that dog? And I go, no. No, actually. There isn't a reason that I'm doing that. That's kind of fucked up, actually. It is kind of fucked up that I'm randomly killing some random cute animal because the battle music started. And it's not fucked up of me that I'm doing that, but it's like thinking within the context of the narrative, like you have these characters just randomly starting to like butcher random like slimes with like smiley faces on their faces and shit like that. Might Magic 6 was my first Might Magic game. I didn't play the earlier games in the series, but I think that's a good example of like a thing that it's like you can see the like foreshadowing once you're ready for it. Once you're ready for it, you kind of like are ready. Once you've seen that twist happen, you're like, I am prepared now. You can never be shocked the way that you were shocked the first time ever again, because you can still be surprised by things, but like you're not going to be taken by surprise in the same way. Well, that's interesting. Most started moving in a different direction as soon as I got deeply into the seas. Okay. Trying to manipulate these into a good position. It's 12:19. Yeah, we might be able to actually finish this if I cannot fuck things up too bad. Damn, you didn't go the way that I wanted you to. I'm gonna pop in here. My hope is that I can either split these up or get them to do what I want. Fortunately, that is a evil eye, actually, which is very concerning. Okay, we've got multiple fire warlocks, which are a little bit dangerous, despite their low level. We have several hitting me right now. Okay, that one's toast. And it looks like all of them are going to be in play. We're going to get away because of the evil eye. The evil eye has the triple shot. The triple I is the triple I. That there triple I is the biggest threat that we gotta face right about now. I'll tell you what. Let's get out of here. I need to replay the I need to play the early games. They made a remake of Might and Magic 1, right? Where like it doesn't have the like seizure-inducing sound and visual effects at the starting screen. Like every time I load up Might and Magic 1, I regret it. Where I'm just like, I load this thing up and I'm like, ooh, I understand that. I now understand what some of my peers who look at, you know, all the SNES games that I play and go, how can you play something that looks that ugly? And I go, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful though. Can't you see? Can't you see? And then I look at my Magic 1 and I'm like, I feel like I might be having the same kind of response to this that they're having to the things that I enjoy. My brain has not been prepared for this. Let's see. Let's see. Game Pass. Bard's Tale is the old, like, adventure game stuff, right? I feel like there's been a lot of good and fun adventure games that have come out over the years from, like, indie developers. Shoot! Oh! Okay, this is an issue. This is a concern. I don't know where it's gonna appear from next. Okay. How low are you? Hopefully pretty low. Okay, it's pretty low right now. Not super low. But my hope is, if I can block some of the projectiles. Okay, there we go. I think I'm going to get a save off, because we now have the ability to leave and re-enter at will. Well, I'm going to try to get a save off. I actually don't know if I can. I think I probably can. I think it really depends. It depends on, like, the, how well the original did what it was meant to do, and how well that translates to the modern era. From my perspective, like, if you have a game that was fundamentally, like, that fundamentally does what it was meant to do, and does it well, and in a way that holds up to, like, basically that you can play it today and still get the stuff out of it that you could have gotten out of it 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, or however long ago it was, then I don't see any reason to remake it, right? I don't think that you need to, like, modernize a thing just for the sake of modernizing it. I don't think that you need to do a lot of the stuff that, like, people end up wanting to do with these kinds of things. So, if you want to just modernize a thing by basically putting a coat of paint on it and making it, like, look better, I'm not that, like, invested in either direction, except in, I think, extreme cases where it's like, this is something that, you know, there were, like, 3 pixels involved in the creation of this product, and it's very hard to parse now. Like, if you look at the thing and you didn't have the, like, if you didn't learn how to interact with this imagery as a child, can you realistically comprehend what's happening on screen as an adult? Or as a kid today, right? Like, so there is stuff that I think is very reasonable to remake just from a visual perspective. I would say the Might and Magic one falls into that category because it's hard for me to look at. But the other thing is that a lot of games I do think are, and a lot of games are not. I hesitate to say are incomplete, but I would say that a lot of games try to do with a lot of interesting stuff and kind of do the interesting stuff they're setting out to do, but don't do a great job of it because they didn't really. It was their first time trying to do what they're trying to do, and they don't really succeed. I could see a world where you're like, okay, well, I have made 3 games in this genre now. I can take what I did in the first game and basically get it a bit more coherently assembled, right? I can see like a place where you do that. The key there is that you don't want to be streamlining anything. You don't want to be taking stuff out. You want to retain the uniqueness of the thing. You just want to make it work, right? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I actually agree that, like, from my perspective, you want to retain the thing that made that game of its era, but you want to, which to me, like, if you want to play the game purely with the aesthetics of its era instead of the other thing, you can do that. But, like, they also often don't work anymore. But you want the piece of media to retain the artistic stuff that they did, right? The choices that they made, you should pretty much maintain those choices. Like, if you have to, like, arbitrarily, like, choose to use every item in your inventory one after another in order to solve a puzzle in the original game, hey man, if you're doing a remake, go for it, right? That's what you're doing. And if you're making a mod for a game, I have no objection to people modding a game to make it less incoherent and dumb. But if you're making a remake, I say keep that in, because that, like, bizarre shit is the reason that someone's playing this and not some other game, right? So keep that stuff in. But there are things that were meant to work that don't. Good example is, like, in a remake of Final Fantasy VI, you probably don't want to leave in the bug that magic defense is also, magic evasion is also physical evasion. Like, you know, maybe fix the accuracy formula so that it's pointing at the right formula. You know, just like stuff like that. Get the physical attack formula pointing at the right function. But, like, yeah, I think that there's a space for remakes. But the other thing is that I think that for the most part, like, realistically, most remakes are kind of just shameless cash grabs that exist for the purpose of getting you to pay for a thing again without really giving you too much for it. It's just a matter of, like, you know, okay, well, we have the IP, let's exploit the IP, right? And so, yeah, like, most remakes are, like, not super great. And I don't think that when they do make changes, oftentimes I think that the changes that they make
We don't need this.
are there to modernize the game in a way that actually just means simplify, strip down, and otherwise like take the math nerd out of the game, because the people who are making those kinds of decisions are, you know,
Powerful this is. I can't fit anymore.
are executives. They're not they're not nerds. Let's see. Yeah, most remakes I'm not hugely fond of. I personally I would. Oh shh. Well, that's our second legendary. Is that our third legendary spear? That's our third legendary spear.
Sorry.
That right there is legendary spear number 3. I feel like the game is trying to tell me something. I feel like the game is trying to tell me something here. Okay, so we need a lot of space to put that in our inventory too. It's almost like I should have done some inventory management before I came in here or something. It's almost like that would have, you know, made my life a little bit easier.
Junk.
Let's see. How much? Take out most of that space, Okay, we've got a decent bit of space in this inventory.
We don't need this.
So we have a Servant Staff of Speed, which is a slight upgrade for you, despite being just like a green.
Can't fit anymore.
That's pretty
I can't
funny.
carry anymore. Let's leave it
The
behind.
flail, the belt.
There's no room.
My pack's full.
Sorry. There's no room.
I can't believe that we just got another legendary spear. That's too funny.
There's no room. There's no room.
Come on, man.
I can't
You
fit anymore.
gotta give me a break. You gotta give me something that is. Oh man. Okay. The other thing is, it's a really good effect. So you know how we've been holding on to that Oracle Orb? That Oracle Orb, because that's the defense one, right? Let me take a look. We're gonna confirm that I was reading that correctly. If I can find it. Where the hell did I put it? Is it your inventory? Oh, we have another inventory free there. We're fine. Oh, we have a lot of stuff in that inventory too. Hey, we have another spear we haven't identified. That could be legendary too. Let's wait until we're ending stream and I'll take a look at that one. We'll just put this here. Where the heck did I put that spear? I'm concerned about doing this much inventory management while there it is. Reduces damage by 3% for each enemy. Yeah, so this is a very powerful defensive spear. Like, this is a very powerful defensive legendary, and we found another spear. So, found a caster spear. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
We don't need this. I can't carry anymore.
High tier
This
troll.
is nice.
Okay.
We don't need this. Let's leave it behind.
You're right.
Let's leave it behind. Let's leave it
So
behind.
garbage. It's all so garbage. That's, God, you know why? You know why we got that spear?
Let's
We
leave it
deserve
behind.
that spear.
I can't carry
That
it.
spear
This
is punishment for the
Let's
fact
leave it
that we did
behind.
not manage to kill every enemy and let our allies get some of the kills. That's it. That's our penance right there. You know? The game had no choice. It had no choice but to punish us for our sins. Okay, we're gonna pop over to here. We will hopefully not die on the way as we go to save. I think I can probably just save in this room now somewhere. Can I just like run to the east side of this room? Yeah. So we're gonna save the game under dungeon. I'm just gonna try to flip back and forth between these two saves. That's so funny. That's so funny. We need to find another spear by the end of the game. It's gonna be great. We still haven't found another Oracle Orb, so we found the two at the very beginning, and we haven't found any since. I should have probably cast into those, honestly, but it's fine. So we're just rotate over here. I think that the Minotaur lords have difficulty getting around these corners. So hopefully... Oh no, they're gonna kill each other, aren't they? Maybe not. I don't think they're gonna like any damage to each other. It's fine. Oh wow, we're taking a lot of damage. It's here. Okay, hopefully we don't lose that enemy. If we lose that enemy, should we like reload for that, do you think? How do we feel about this? I feel like we should. Mostly just because it's funny. I don't know if we can't. The thing is that we don't have a lot we can do about the fact that those two are fighting right now. Other than clear the rest of the enemies out quick. You know? So... let's try clearing out this Minotaur headsman. Let's kite it a bit, because these things hit real hard.
I can't.
As you can see. It's almost worse to get the stun off, because I want to exploit the stun and get some hits in, but then they start attacking me again, and I instantly have to deal... Wow, this was such a weak version of this room, actually. This room spawned really weak.
I don't know.
Nice.
I don't
Alright,
know.
we're gonna just try to burn through all of the eyes here. This room is a really weak version. I've seen this room be way stronger than this. This is a really low tier version of it. Got the kill there, got the kill there. Okay, there's just a gazer left.
This should be
I'm gonna start weakening the Water Warlock as well.
I don't know.
Is it? What is it?
Oh, she's missing? Is she just missing it? Oh my god, that's funny. I just realized that that projectile went straight past
Let's leave
it.
it behind. I can't carry it.
Legendary?
This is nice.
Not legendary.
There's no.
Would have been
My
funny,
pack's
but no
full.
legendary.
There's no room.
So sad. We did get a staff there.
There's no room
It's
left.
kind of a
I
spooky
can't- there's
staff.
no room.
Is it a spooky
There's no
good
room.
staff?
Anymore. I can't fit anymore. I can't fit anymore.
Oh, you're a two.
I
You're,
can't fit anymore.
oh, you're full up in there. Okay, we're in the green again. 65%. We have 23 minutes left.
How lucky.
That is not.
How lucky.
Are you being sarcastic or not? Actually, I don't even know. Like, I don't know if that voice line is a line for if it's good or if it's bad. Actually, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell.
There's no room.
I can't carry anymore.
This character is full of so much snark that it's like, are you saying how lucky sarcastically because you're just being snarky? Or are you saying it because it's bad? Or both? Or neither? Are you just talking normally and I'm interpreting sarcasm out of it because you just seem like the kind of person who
There's
talks
no room.
sarcastically?
There's no room.
There's no room.
There's no room.
It's impossible to know. Oh, I dropped the
My
case of
pack's
soldier.
full.
Well, that explains why I had so much
no
extra
room.
space, huh?
Fit anymore.
There's no
My
room.
pack's full.
It's like, wow, I have so much extra space now. All of a sudden.
I can't carry anymore.
Just needed to organize.
There's no room.
No, actually, you didn't just need to organize.
Sorry. There's no room.
The inventory
There's no room.
boss is causing
I can't
problems
fit
for us
anymore.
right now. Okay, we have a lot of Gog blood. We can get rid of this. We're not supposed to have this much Gog blood. The reason that we're struggling so much inventory-wise is because we fought so many Gogs in such a tiny period of time. We were fighting them in the barrows and here. So I'm going to remove all of the blood from this inventory. You're not a vampire. Why are you holding this much blood? Is it because you want to feed your friend? Okay, that's actually a legitimate reason to hold on to a bunch of blood, and that's very cute, very touching, and all that. Also, you are kind of enemy. I just realized that Severia and Komanatin are in the same party right now, and that's actually funny. I guess tech. Is that a? Would that be a spoiler? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I guess I kinda, yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I need to sit on fairy tales within my setting that I never ended up writing necessarily indefinitely. Suffice to say, canonically questionable, but ultimately acceptable to have Severia and Komanatin in the same party. Canonically questionable, but acceptable, I think is that's the official line. Okay, we're gonna go up this elevator, and we're not gonna invis first because I don't think we need to invis. I think we're fine, right? Okay, I think we established that if we go up this elevator, if we send the elevator up, we can't bring it back down by clicking on it or something, right? Ooh, that is gonna be pretty rough, actually. Okay. Hey, we got music! I think it's not repeating any of the song. I think the 30 isn't working either. I think that I need to... Wait, I didn't invis myself before I came this far. I think that I need to change the files over to WAVs to make it work. I don't think that thing works at all on these files. I'll try to fix that before next stream. Because that I like, you know, the music is great. The series has great music, and I should be listening to it on loop. I shouldn't be hearing it once and then just being sitting here in silence. Okay. You know,
Can't identify.
that's gonna make what I'd like to do here a little bit harder. Wait, whoa. Okay. So. So if we just go downstairs... Will they fall down here, actually? Is that a thing we can make them do? I can't hit that switch and then bring it down, I think. I think if I hit this switch, it goes up and I can't get it back. So we're going to have to wait. And... Can we get them to come down? Or can we get them to get into a position where they won't obliterate me when I go up? Questionable on both counts. They are in the corners, and them being in the corners is better for me overall. They're both on the same side right now, but they're now like wandering around. Can I get you into a position where you can't hit me? I don't know that I can, but I should be able to get damage into them and then just pop down. And I think this is the way to go. This is gonna be the strat. So we're basically just gonna get up, and okay, they just shot me from upstairs. You know, cheese is good and valuable stuff. Wait, whoa, what? Oh, right. The elevator doesn't automatically start going up. Right, we need to get them out of that section first. Because they're currently standing, like, right at the top there. What move you last time? Oh shit, you fell down. Nice! I can get you to just fall off. Nice. Alright. So they'll either rotate in. I can get them to rotate down. Very nice. I like it. Okay, they're in the corners now, so I can go up and they won't blast me while I'm on my way up. I'm facing the wrong direction because, you know, I definitely don't have a map that tells me which direction I'm facing. That's definitely not a mechanic. I think I'd know if I had a mechanic that lets me see which direction I'm facing on the map. You think there's like an arrow or something in the middle of the map? Ridiculous. They didn't invent that for another 10 years. The kids these days, they don't understand how like the old school games work. We had to make our own maps. We had to map things manually by hand. Consider drawing practice. Kids these days, am I right? Had to play games on a micro monitor. Back in my day, we had screen resolutions with 2 numbers in it, not just the 1. We had twice as many numbers. We had to do multiplication if we wanted to figure out how many pixels were in our monitors. Oh, no! Don't do it! Why are you like this? I knew this was us! Which direction am I facing? Wrong way. Oh, I am boned. You know, well deserved. Well deserved. Okay. You know, come by it, honestly. As I'm sitting here complaining about the youths, I get just obliterated by some old school bullshittery. Okay. No, we're going face east. Face the correct direction. Artole. Is it east in both directions? No, south when we're going this way. Okay, let's just hop over here, get these locked downstairs maybe. I don't want to get all of them downstairs, but we might end up doing it. Oh! Hello. I made a new friend. Might be one of the friends that killed me.
Someone heal me.
One of the things that I found interesting was, like, how long it took for, like, the more modern style monitors to catch up to the old, like, bonkers monitor that I had as a teenager. Like, these flat screens took so many years to catch up to... Oh, shit. To catch up to... See, this is the thing. As soon as I start complaining about the kids these days, bad things happen to me. This is an attack. One could say this is what happens when you just spam the spacebar when you're not supposed to. Like, you know, you're playing one of them kids games that supports that kind of shenaniganry. And I would say, nuh-uh. Or if I was feeling particularly spicy, no you. Rotate out. Yes, there it is. Okay. Not gonna loot anything, actually. Who needs loot? Not us. This is not a loot-dependent game. Okay, we need to get the fuck out of here, because this... Let's go this side, I think. Oh, Jesus! Where'd you come from? That's an interesting time for you to show up. Hi, friend. How's it going? Scared the shit out of me. By force? I am your parent, young child, and you will play this. Minecraft isn't even popular. It's Roblox now. Minecraft, I don't think, is even played by the kids these days. I think Minecraft is out. Okay. Deal with this. To hopefully survive this. I think once we finish this engagement, I'm probably going to go save. I was thinking it would be fun to like finish this section entirely, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a reasonable thing to do, considering all these headsmen are messing me up so bad. We also got a extra kill on that evil eye there, and I don't know where that evil eye was, but it might be an evil eye that's hard to get an angle on otherwise. But I do think we're going to make an attempt. Press the space bar. Let's see. Hoping that I can clear out the Minotaur Lord. I know that there are some normal Minotaurs in play here as well, but I think we've already killed like 2 Minotaur headsmen here. I don't know if Minotaur Lords can get through here or not, and I know that I am currently coming from the east side and heading to... What the fuck just happened? Why did that thing spawn back in as a corpse? What the fuck? Was that supposed to be like an ambush, but instead of an ambush, it was just a corpse? That was weird. Alright, we are in a bit of trouble here. Nothing too major, I don't think. Looks like it might just be the one, actually. Okay, that one's toast. I'm so terrified that I'm going to accidentally press spacebar again. To be clear, I have very little grasp of what the kids, what the youths are up to these days. Let's see. Ooh! That is quite a few friends. Right here. Down here. So I think they can leak down. I don't know how likely it is for them to leak down. I would love for you to leak. I don't know if they're going to want to leak. You going to want to be a friend? You going to be a friend to me, or am I going to have to go? I think I'm going to go save. They might only want to leak if... make it happen. Alright, we're going to save this. I mean, every PC these days costs like $1,000, right? Like $1,000 is not a very expensive machine. Like, the price of electronics has gotten so ridiculously out of hand, especially since COVID, right? Like, I don't think that like the price of memory ever recovered, right? Like, RAM and graphics cards are both like obscenely expensive still, right? Because I built my machine like right as COVID was hitting, and like, oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think Fortnite is a terribly computer-intensive game. But I think they're also, like, that's kind of part of their monetization, right? Like, I think that they have, I think they have, like, marketing deals with the PC people, right? So, like, I'm fairly sure that, like, a good component of that is just, like, that stuff.
Who needs it? Junk.
Yeah, to me, I feel like to me, I would think it would be, like, more weird for me to have a really crazy high-end machine. Though, my machine is actually pretty good. My machine would probably be really expensive today. And I'm playing Might and Magic's. Whereas, like, you know, shooters have always been really expensive. Like, playing shooters was always, like, a really expensive hobby. Like, more so than anything else. PC games generally have always been really expensive, but, like, shooters, I think, are even more so. Especially if you want to play them at anything like a high-end. Because of the fact that, you need to have the, oh, shit, I didn't actually tag the thing while I was in Brigada. That's fine. We'll just overwrite the Nion Tunnels when we don't actually need it, and we're basically going to just teleport somewhere to get food and then just teleport back. I think that's how we're going to handle this, though we might not end up doing that because I think we're going to end stream here because it's 12:57 and we're not that close to finishing. So we've cleared out that section there. I think that's a good way to finish things up. We can start pulling the rest of these at the start of next stream. I'm anticipating that we're going to finish this up and move on to the Might and Magic 6 stuff pretty quick in the next stream. But before we do end, we have a few minutes left. We're going to check all the shiny stuff that just dropped. Because I don't think I looked at it all, right? Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I didn't check. So let's see if we have any other... Ooh, this is actually really good. This is a very good item, actually. I'm going to want to equip that on somebody, and I should probably do it now rather than wait. Do we want to equip it on you? No, I think I want to equip this on Severia. Let's give this to Severia quick. Arms Master +3. I have so many legendary rings. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Your gear set is so funny, Severia. Actually, you know what? You don't. I guess you're not getting it. You know what? Maybe I should give this to you. No, we're gonna give this to Cortal. Cortal probably has garbage. This is not a very good ring. We're gonna just swap this over. We're not gonna worry about it too much. We don't have a lot of time before we end stream, so give me 1 second. It's Friday, so I don't remember what time we have. We have some people coming to do an installation today as well. So we have the staff,
nice.
which has 38% body resistance. That's super useful for our Lich. We can check the new map as well. That's a good call. Let's check these. Arms +9.
Ah, it's useless.
It's useless. I really look. I really want to find another legendary spear. I really want
This
that.
is
I
nice.
want that so much. It's something that I desire very strongly. I just realized that I can't save again because I just saved, and I don't have enough food to save again. So I'm like doing all this inventory stuff. So this is the Watchtower 6 map that we already looked at. Is this thing I just looked at?
It's worthless.
The hammer here. We have quite a few maps in our inventory now.
It's worthless.
I don't think that is correct. That doesn't
There's no room
look
left.
like where that's supposed to be.
My pack's
There's
full.
no room.
Okay. So Nyone Tunnels and Castle Navon. I don't think that we found that we. This is a new one, right? I don't think that we had this. So 26% chance to have a higher tier. Reflect physical damage.
Who needs
Nice combo. You know, I do so love to see reflects physical damage. That's very useful for us. So the Castle Navon map, we can actually use that at some point. I still haven't come up with how I want to set up the rule set for the usage of those, actually. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those. So have we checked everything? I think we've checked everything. So we found a new legendary. Yeah, very, very friendly. Oh, you know what? We should probably talk to her. This isn't Abby Normal, is it? I'm gonna start assembling the golem because I don't. The inventory boss is a problem. Let's see. We can't. You know what? We're gonna do it. It's gonna be. We're doing this. I don't want to pull the trigger on deciding for myself next time whether I am going to leave the dungeon or just like finish with this. I don't want to make that decision for myself until Monday. So rather than make that decision for myself right now, I'm instead going to say, okay, leave the option open. We'll just add an extra food so that we can make a save after we've taken a look at our stuff in our inventory. I think that's a happy medium. So that's going to be it for today. So thank you for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure streaming for you today. And I hope to see you all again on Monday, question mark. Yep, on Monday, when we will be getting back to Might and Magic 6 and all sorts of shiny business. That works.